Hello and welcome to the debut episode of the Inventor Smart Community TV's Innovation Unleashed. Excited to be your host, Bonnie D. Graham, and I'll be taking you into the world of invention, creativity, camaraderie, collaboration, and groundbreaking ideas. Are you ready? I want to introduce you to something extraordinary, the Inventor Smart Community App. Yes, there's an app. If you're an aspiring inventor or just a dreamer, someone who's already walked the path of innovation, or if you're an avid student who's eager to learn from the brightest minds in the world of innovation, this vibrant and supportive platform is made just for you. The app was designed by Inventor Smart Community founder Brian Freed. I've been a friend of Brian's, a colleague and acquaintance for at least 20 years. He was a guest on my TV show in New York many years ago. And the beauty of networking is we've stayed in touch, and he asked me to come on board and do some of these interviews for him on the Inventor Smart Community. So I'm thrilled to be here. Brian designed the app as a place where bright minds converge, where you can share your ingenious ideas and connect with like-minded inventors. You're going to meet somebody quickly here soon. The app has the tools and support you need to turn your dreams into innovations that change the world. I know that sounds like a big deal, but you just might succeed at that. I'm going to bring you interviews with trailblazing inventors, industry experts, and thought leaders who will inspire you, motivate you, and share their processes, their expertise, their experiences. You want to know about those and their insights. Get ready for stories of triumph and challenges and the audacity they have to turn their ideas into reality. Think of this as your innovation playground, your portal to the frontiers of imagination. And remember, it all starts with that spark, the idea that ignites your passion. And with the Inventor Smart Community app, you will have the power to turn that spark into a flame that lights up the world. Where can you get the app? I thought you'd never ask. Download it at the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce you to a lady I met recently through Brian Freed. I am so thrilled to get to know her and to bring her story to you. It's Samantha St Raymond. She is the Inventor Smart Community's Vice President of Community Relations. That's a big title to fit on a business card, Samantha. She's also the inventor of the Yellow Dog Beach and Travel Table. Been on the market since 2017. Go find it at www. Well, I could forget that part. yellowdogtable.com. Go find her. Samantha, give us a little bio. Who are you? What do you do for those people who haven't met you yet? And welcome.
Hi, Bonnie. Great to see you again. And thank you for hosting this segment of the Inventor Smart Community. We are so excited about this.
What are some of the features of the new app he's designed that you think would be of interest to our viewers? Samantha, talk to me.
This is probably the most exciting time to be an inventor for me personally, and for all the inventors that are members of the Inventor Smart Community. This is an app now where, as an inventor, I can go and I can ask questions. I can be a part of a community. I can collaborate with others. We are all at different stages of our inventions. So when I met Brian several years ago, I went to his website because I was finding him on LinkedIn. He's so much content on LinkedIn. And I had all these questions about being an inventor. I mean, I had so many questions. I didn't know anything about the industry. So Brian took the time to get on the phone with me or send me a couple of emails, and we started to talk a little bit. Then he invited me to become a member of the National Inventor Club, which I've been for about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years, and now the Inventor Smart Community. This app is so full of resources, community involvement. It's like a social media for inventors. And again, we're all at different stages. So you may just be now developing your idea from stage one, and you're asking yourself, well, I don't know how to search for a patent. I don't know how to think about a trademark. I don't know how to come up with a name. I don't know where to go get manufacturing. You can join us at this Inventor Smart Community, and there's people like myself and Brian and so many other inventors are on there, and we're willing to jump in and answer those questions and help you. We have service providers on there. If you need some design work, you need some copyright, you need an inventor agent, someone to look up licensing for you. I mean, it's just endless of what you can find on the Inventor Smart app. I love it.
And Samantha, as I mentioned before, when I was describing it, think of the Inventor Smart app as your innovation playground, your portal to the frontiers of imagination, and the ways to bring your invention to life. Does that sum it up pretty well?
It just does. I mean, inventors are out there and a lot of new inventors, they just don't know the first steps. And the first steps are crucial because until you get inspired, or once you're inspired to create something, you'll lose your inspiration if you don't know where to go and you don't know what to do, right?
There you go.
And this is where then what'll happen is 2 years later, you see your invention at the store somewhere and you go, oh, I thought of that
Oh,
2 years ago. And that's only because you've been afraid of the industry. Somebody's telling you, oh, you need $50,000 to file a patent. And there's so many mistruths about that. So under the Inventor Smart community, community is key. You'll get with a community of people that are already doing what you're attempting to do. Again, different stages, but we're here to help you decide, help you look into your invention further. And it's all under one hub. I mean, it's the greatest thing ever. And I just think it's so smart. Invention Smart.
it,
And, it's a great place for innovators and creative people to collaborate and collect together. And you don't have to be this big successful inventor with thousands of products on the market. You can be a new person and just come on in and join us and let us help you walk through some of the steps.
a
We're all
dream,
in this together and we want to see you succeed.
a dreamer or a learner or an already inventor. Is this life exciting, Samantha, being an inventor? What do you think?
It really is.
Okay.
It is because each step you develop gets you closer and closer and closer. And if you understand that it just takes a little bit of time and a little innovation and a little patience, that you really can see your dreams come true. You really can see your product being used by millions of people. It doesn't matter if it's something in the medical field or something fun like Yellow Dog Beach and Travel Table. There's room for innovation everywhere. So just a little bit about myself. My background is in hospitality. I'm a bartender, server for almost 30 years and turned inventor in 2016, simply because I was sitting on the beach enjoying a beautiful beach day at the Gulf of Mexico. And I was in my chair and I didn't have a cup holder in this particular chair that I had. So I had my adult beverage, if you will, and I sat it down in the sand. And when I lifted it up, most people will realize this, it was just clumped with sand. And as much as I love my toes in the sand, I didn't want my beverage in the sand. So I got to thinking, how come, or is there a little beach table for just to carry down to the beach that's not too heavy or too cumbersome? And to my surprise, at the time, there just wasn't. So I invented one. Me and my dad did. Actually, we partnered on this together. My father lives in Louisiana, and we spent some time together down there. And he just encouraged me to let's do some research. Let's see if there's a beach table. And again, there just wasn't one.
Samantha, that old saying we keep bringing up, necessity is the mother, the father, the stepmother, stepfather of invention. And you and your dad did this together, which makes it a family thing. Very interesting. I was going to ask you your why, because that's something I'll be asking all of my guests here on the show. Why? What is your reason? What was the challenge or the problem you wanted to solve, and what target population? And you've already answered that in a very interesting way. So let's talk a little bit about how you named your invention. How did you, what kind of research did you do other than is that name taken? Talk about the actual naming process, because I'm guessing, I haven't invented anything yet, but you and Brian may inspire me, Samantha. I'm guessing that may be one of the hardest things for an inventor to do, is to nail down, be very specific about something that describes the product, and something that is catchy and that will capture people's imagination and be memorable. Did I hit all the high points there?
Yeah, you did. And for me, originally, I was just going to call it Beachside Table. But after I sat with a patent attorney and a trademark attorney, he kind of advised me, look, this is kind of too general. You're describing what the product is, which is very important to do, but you also want to create a brand identity around it. So I really, this goes back to, you have to learn the process and you have to kind of go back to the drawing board when you're inventing something. I've always been really great at coming up with very catchy, fun names. But on this particular, I'd never invented anything before. This was my first product. So to me, it's a beachside table. And the trademark attorney said, let's go back to the drawing board and see what else you can come up with. And it took another couple of weeks to really kind of find a fun name. So my father's in the military, so I'm a veteran's daughter. And, dogs are really important in the military. They play a very significant role. And also when you're on the beach, there's a lot of posted signs, no dogs on the beach, no dogs on the beach. There's certain areas where your dog could be on the beach. So I don't know. I woke up one morning and it was right in my head, yellow dog table. So it kind of played into my father was also an MP in the military. So there was a correlation there. And also no dogs allowed on the beach. I'm like, what? You can take a yellow dog table to the beach. So we kind of wanted to incorporate that in with some of the marketing. I went back to my trademark attorney. I go, all right, I've come up with a name, Yellow Dog Table. And he was just like, I love it. This is great. Because also when you're inventing something, you don't know if you're going to expand on your brand or not. And he explained to me, he goes, look, you're going to have to teach the public what your product is anyway. But when they see it and when they have it, it's pretty self-explanatory once they see the product. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way to look at it as well, that you need to identify what your brand is going to be. And you also have to teach teach the public what your product is. So there's a slippery slope there, right? But you can find the wiggle room to do both at the same time. So of course, yellow dog table. Okay, now we know it's a table. Yellow dog is the brand. And then as time went on, we added yellow dog beach and travel table, just to really drive it home to the public exactly what this product is. So that's kind of how we came up with that.
Samantha, I'm smiling because you may not be aware, but you just gave what people call a primer or a primer. You just gave Invention Naming 101. You gave a class. You gave about a 4-minute expert class, master class. Anybody wants to know how to name a new invention, you call Samantha. Well, don't call her. You can find her through us. Samantha St Raymond, that was masterful what you just did. You brought in all the elements of creativity, imagination, branding, family, the idea of using a patent attorney, doing your research, thinking about the meaning of the product, the application of the product, the audience, expanding the brand. You touched on at least 15 different points that people need to know. That's why the Inventor Smart Community, as we said, collaboration, right? And innovation, inspiration. You just inspired me. I got to go out and invent something now. I want to know a little bit more about your process, the research you did, the business plan. You don't have to get into all of the gory details, but about product testing, customer survey, sourcing manufacturers. I know this could take a whole hour. We only have a few minutes. So Samantha, give us the top down of your overall bringing it from, you named it, you have the concept, getting it to the point where you actually physically have a product. Samantha, talk to me.
First and foremost, in any invention, it's research, research, research. Because you can have a great idea and it's more than just going to one online store, or I didn't see it at a local large retailer, it must not be available. So I think what inventors really need to understand, there's thousands of online retailers. There's thousands of boutiques, little stores. So you really have to do your research. And of course, we know there's thousands of tables already on the market, obviously. But what I was finding at the time is if you had $1 billion beach house, there were tables available for you. But just for an average beachgoer, mom and dad, consumer, friends with kids, whatever. There wasn't something small and portable that you could pop down to the beach with you. And the key with the yellow dog table is the legs are detachable from under the unit. So everything fits into a little tote bag that comes with your table. It only weighs 2 pounds, so it was real easy to carry. And then I started to have fun with it. I'm like, well, how can we make this table a little unique and a little different? Leaving the legs detachable, because I didn't imagine people would carry a table down to the beach with 4 legs sticking out of it, right? And I didn't want them to bend under because beach and sand and salt water is corrosion, and that wasn't going to work either. So we discovered that, well, let's use some PVC piping as the legs. And PVC, as most people will know, are hollow. So the table legs fit underneath the table. You set it on the sand, and then you can take a handful of sand and pour it into each leg tube and kind of pat it down. So now we've added 4 pounds of additional weight to this table. So if anybody's on the beach, it can get pretty windy out there. Umbrellas, beach towels, things kind of fly around. So this added some weight and stability to the table. And then we kind of knew, well, we're kind of onto something here. So we're utilizing the natural elements of the earth that's already available, the sand. And when you lift up the table, the sand pours right back out and right where you left it. So that was kind of fun to play around with that. So that's really where we knew we kind of had a really cool product. Is we don't have to make it heavy, because I want a young child to be able to carry it. Or if grandma's carrying all your beach gear, we want grandma to be able to manage that as well. And I'm just kind of having fun there, but we wanted it really lightweight and compact and useful. So the problem we wanted to solve is most people were putting their beverages or their snacks on top of their cooler. A lot of people already bring in the cooler. But every time you got to reach into your cooler, you got to move all your stuff off, open up your cooler, and then close it back down. You kind of lose some of the cooling element of your cooler. So if you have a little small table next to you, you can put your beverages, your expensive cellular devices, your Bluetooth radios, your book, your fruit, your water, your adult beverage. And even though it's a 12 by 12 square table, you can fit a lot of items on that. So that's kind of how it kind of developed. But again, the research in the beginning was the most important part.
How did you find a manufacturer? First of all, I have to tell you, I'm ready to go to the beach. I'm in Tennessee
I know,
now, and
right?
it's about
Aren't
89
we all?
degrees. And I'm going to go online and buy one of your tables, and I'm going to find a beach. So there's a lake near me. I'm going to go bring the Yellow Dog Beach and travel table to the lake. Samantha, how long? Just overview quickly. How long did it take you from the idea, the concept, when you had the I love the idea of the hollow PVC legs and putting the sand in for stability, natural element, availability, holding everything together? You've covered everything, but where did you find a manufacturer, and how long did it take to get your prototype in general?
Well, first, I want to say that anytime you do something like this, it actually does take a little longer than anticipated, right? It
Mhm.
doesn't happen overnight. So you really have to have the patience and the tenacity to stick with it, because there's so many little variables that can come up. So from start to finish, it took over a year to go to market. And that is a pretty good timeline, actually. And a lot of people have that misconception they can create a product and in 3 months it's ready. And if you can, well done you. But the norm is it can take just about a year or more. It did for me personally, for me and dad. But again, we had to find the manufacturer, and we're American made product. And we're really excited to produce an American made product. We had to find someone to do the injection molding, how long that would take. And of course, you have to have the finances as well. So we were self-funded, and we went to a pitch competition, and I didn't win the competition, but there was an audience member who approached me afterwards and said, I love this idea. This is going to sell like flip-flops around here. I've been on this beach my entire life, and I want to invest in your product. So that was a very unexpected, yeah, I know, it was really cool. That was a really unexpected thing. So that's another kind of segue too. Expect the unexpected.
Mhm.
I remember when I lost the competition, at the time, I'm like, oh man, we really need this. And I felt a little disappointed. I was happy for the winner, but
Mhm.
you have to reflect on how much work you've put in as well.
Of course.
And then this person approached me. So I'm like, oh my God, I did win this competition. And it
Right.
helped us, get the product to market.
And the lesson is you put yourself out there, you found the competition, you entered the competition, you made yourself present and available, and you were open to ideas from other people. That was another lesson in all kinds of things. Is the table only sold online? And if it is, how did you decide brick and mortar versus catalog versus e-commerce? What was your decision about the commerce side of how do you get it out there to the market? Samantha?
Well, when I first launched the table, you've heard of door-to-door salesmen, right? We all
Yes.
have.
Yes.
Yeah. Boots on the ground. We went beach to beach selling this table. Literally beach to beach. I would strap as many as on my back, my arms, my shoulders as I could. And I went and got a permit to sell on the beach. And I walked up and down that beach and I would look at people, go, hey, you want a table? You want a table? You want a table? I mean, that's the grassroots hustle of it all. Of course, we're going online because, and again, it's not as simple as you can create one product and then Walmart's calling, hey, we want your product. You have to show that you have a product that's marketable to the buyers, to industry buyers. So, I mean, if I can go back from 8 years ago to where I am now, I mean, there's a lot more knowledge. And because of places like our Inventor Smart Community, these are the reasons why we have much more knowledge than we did, 6, 7 years ago. So we're focusing online. There were a couple of like mom and pop little beach stores that I walked in. They go, yeah, we'll take a couple of those and put them on the shelf for you. But you have to start somewhere, and somewhere your starting point is just slow and minimal. And that's okay too. It really is okay because you have to understand and learn your product and your market as well. And you start to get your customer feedback of what your customers want and what they preferred. So we did a lot of beach to beach, door to door. We did a lot of pop-up events at churches and craft shows and things like that. And we were getting some really good feedback about our product.
Grit and guts. I didn't have that in my introduction, but that's what it took. And lots of miles and miles to go before she sleeps. I can keep a secret. I can. And rumor has it that you've got another invention coming to market soon. I know you're not ready to debut it. You're not ready to roll it out yet. You don't even want to talk about the name, but can you just give us a little tiny hint on what industry it's going to be for, if you'd like to?
My background is hospitality. I've invented a bar tool accessory, we'll say. So there's an opening there. Because I've been behind the bar many times, I've been in the restaurant industry. I do know about presentation, drinks, and this even applies to non-alcoholic beverages as well, coffees, hot chocolates, things like that. So it was during COVID that this idea came, because I think a lot of us were having ideas during COVID. I mean, there was nowhere to go. There was nothing to do. And I was just sitting there and I'm like, I wonder if, and it just started to develop. So it developed quite differently than the Yellow Dog table did, which I loved as well, because it was kind of a new creative outlook. Instead of thinking about the beach and being outdoors, this was completely different. And I became a more experienced inventor. So my processes were a little bit different because I learned, 10,000 ways that don't work. So now I got it down to, well, if there's 1,000 ways that don't work. But we've come a long way after a couple of redesigns, some prototypes, some testing of the market, some customer surveys, talking to some industry buyers, some users, actual bartenders. So I did a ton of research on this product, and we will launch this thing in probably December of this year. So I'm really excited about this one.
December 2023. And if we're lucky,
Yes.
Samantha will come back on Inventor Smart TV Innovation Unleashed with me, and we'll get to talk about that. Samantha, you're an icon, you're a role model, you're a heck of a nice person, very beautiful lady, very talented. I'm very happy to get to know you, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity. Brian Freed, you're going to see this. Thank you for inviting me to do these interviews and speak with a brilliant person like Samantha. And Samantha, the Inventor Smart Community, is lucky to have you. So Samantha St Raymond, Inventor Smart Community's VP of Community Relations, inventor of the Yellow Dog Beach and Travel Table, and an upcoming secret something for your bar, whether you know it or not, that you're going to want to put on your holiday list for the end of the year 2023. Bonnie D. Graham. Samantha, let's wave goodbye.